Week 26 of the Premier League is a testament to the fact that the English League is a gift that keeps on giving. Did you get to watch the thrilling encounter at Elland Road? Or perhaps you managed to catch a glimpse of the blockbuster match at the Etihad? Well, if you didn't, then you're in the right place. Each match day springs up new surprises, and we're here for them. Stick around as we highlight the major talking points that you might have missed from last week's games. Keeping the fire burning. With 12 games to go, will Liverpool shock the world and hijack the title from City? Liverpool is helping the cause of some neutrals by keeping the title alive. With an 8th consecutive win in all competitions, Liverpool made a second-half comeback against a tenacious Norwich side to keep their Premier League title ambitions alive. The Reds had several opportunities to attack the Norwich goal, but they were forced into action shortly after the break, as Malat Rashika's deflected drive gave the Canaries hope of their first win at Anfield in 28 years. The match was basically non-stop action from start to finish. Jurgen Klopp, who made 7 changes from the squad that defeated Inter Milan in the Champions League, intervened on 62 minutes to make changes. He stood aside to watch like a proud dad as his side gave a lesson in attacking football. Sadio Mane, playing the role of an acrobat in this blockbuster, turned home Constantino Samika's cross with an overhead kick. Then Egyptian king Mo Salah raced onto goalkeeper Alisson Becker's clearance to round Angus Gunn and score. Salah's 17th league goal of the season was his 150th in all competitions for Liverpool, making him one of only 10 players to reach that milestone. Luis Diaz sealed the win with a lovely chipped finish. Klopp's team moved to within 6 points of league leaders Manchester City, who later lost to Tottenham. Diaz's late goal will just add to the feel-good factor as the Reds remain in pursuit of 4 trophies. Title race on. Will Manchester City eventually relinquish the title? That seems to be the question on everybody's mind. Tottenham's thrilling victory at the Etihad provided perhaps the game of the season, giving Liverpool fans optimism in the title battle. The match was the perfect example as to why we love this game. City versus Spurs in the 2019 UCL already set a marker that will perhaps be impossible to beat, but this one didn't disappoint this time either. There are those football matches where the game refuses to behave itself, and this was one of them, totally out of control. Spurs got a much-needed win on Saturday evening thanks to Harry Kane's masterful performance, which came after 3 straight league defeats, including their dreadful defensive collapse against Wolves last Sunday. Manchester City suffered their first domestic defeat since losing 2-0 to Crystal Palace in late October. It's always difficult to play against Manchester City. You can either play it long and risk not seeing the ball for 2 minutes, or you may play it slowly from the back, which is high risk. I suppose you may choose your poison. After superb work from Kane and Sang-Hwan Min, the Asian enticed Ederson off his line before passing the ball across to Dejan Kulusevski, who slid the ball into the open goal for Conte's side. Now, picture this. The game was poised 2-2 as the citizens equalized through a penalty in the second minute of added time, but somehow Spurs scored 3 minutes later to win the game. I guess the only time they don't show their Spursiness is when they play the noisy neighbors. While the result meant Antonio Conte ended a 3-match losing streak, the implication for City is that they have opened up a title race with Liverpool. One rainy afternoon in Elland Road. When Leeds United and Manchester United met at Elland Road on Sunday, they revived a rivalry that is more than 500 years old. These two former English heavyweights, who fought for Champions League glory 20 years ago, are separated by only 40 miles. United are no longer the dominant force of the past, with off-field issues and a star-studded side floundering on the pitch. United's match against Leeds paints the perfect picture of the topsy-turvy team we've come to know. Both halves of the thrilling encounter told the story of how Ralph Rangnick's side can be delightfully impressive and at the same time, shockingly awful. It seems like they only want to play the first half these days. The Red Devils were 2 goals up, but conceded 2 goals in the space of 24 seconds of the second half. But late goals by substitutes Fred and Anthony Elanga earned the team a merited victory. The match looked like it should have been played in the 1990s. United had to overcome the Elland Road crowd that surely earned the FA some money, wet conditions, and the Elland Road crowd once again. Yes, I mentioned the Leeds fans twice. Trust me, those guys behind the Leeds goal would have protected Mesler better than the defenders in front of him. United now has 46 points, putting them 4 points ahead of the chasing pack, which is led by West Ham in 5th. Chelsea and the Lukaku debacle. In a game where Lukaku showed us 7 isn't always a lucky number, Chelsea snatched a late 1-0 victory at Crystal Palace thanks to a strike from Hakim Ziyech in the 89th minute. The game appeared to be heading to a goalless draw, but Chelsea made it 9 wins in a row against Palace after substitute Marcos Alonso's cross found Ziyech unmarked at the back post, extending Chelsea's lead in third place. 15 minutes before his winning goal, Ziyech thought he had scored for Chelsea, finishing from close range when Romelu Lukaku's parried shot dropped for him in the box, only for VAR to rule the Belgium striker was offside. Romelu Lukaku got into the record books over the weekend, and it wasn't for the right reasons. Since Opta began recording statistics, the Belgian has set a new Premier League record for the fewest touches by a player who has played a full 90 minutes. Chelsea head coach Thomas Tuchel stated Lukaku needed more time to adjust to expectations ahead of his game, but the club record signings performance will have done little to alleviate Blue fans' frustration with him. His 7 touches at Selhurst Park, one of which came from the kickoff in the first half, are the fewest in a single Premier League match. Things have continued to get worse for the big striker after an infamous interview that pissed off his coach and teammates. And while his interview skills remain solid as ever, his football form hasn't been the same. Life in the trenches. Clubs that started 2022 from the bottom are trying their best to remain in the trenches. The pull of the relegation zone throughout the season must be hard to resist, seeing how some teams have joined the initial strugglers. With nearly a third of the Premier League season remaining, 9 clubs are still in danger of relegation to the Championship. Despite progress since Dean Smith's arrival in November, Norwich have always seemed destined for relegation as their yo-yo life cycle continues. They looked good for 60 minutes against Liverpool this weekend, until conceding 3 goals in short succession, and they have only 1 point since a 2-1 home win over Everton in mid-January. Time seems to have run out for the Canaries, except for a miraculous turnaround in the coming weeks. This weekend provided Watford some hope in the midst of yet another Premier League season, in which the manager's office rotating door is spinning quite swiftly. Prior to Sunday's triumph, they had gone 4 games without scoring and had only 1 point, a 0-0 draw at Burnley. They sit in the 18th position with a game in hand. After their next game against Crystal Palace at home, they have 3 games against relegation strugglers in Leeds, Brentford, and Burnley in late March and April. These matches would determine their fate, after which they have to deal with the not-so-little matter of Chelsea on the last day. Newcastle, lying in 17th position, stands apart from the crowd, especially because of the cash donations that came their way last year. With a number of prominent additions ranging from Kieran Trippier to Bruno Guimaraes, many would be surprised if Eddie Howe's side was relegated. The Premier League is set again for another breathtaking finish. Will City regain their title? Who will eventually clinch the 4th position on the table? We can only hold our breath and wait for the grand finale. Leave a comment below and tell us what you think about this video.